Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's analyze the bank nifty movement, how this indices has moved today. So the first point which I want to highlight here, that regularly bank nifty is trying to give a breakout to 61.8 percentage of FIBO area. Guys, some background noises are coming that are the from the street vendors, so please bear with me. I cannot do anything with that, and so that's it. So if we draw a FIBO from this high, which is a lifetime high of this bank nifty, which we made in the month of October last, and from there up to the point where we have seen a correction, that is the lowest point in recent time. If we draw a FIBO, then the 61.8% area, this is the 61.8% area which I have already marked with the blue color line, and here too in the left side you can refer it. The upper area is the 0.786 value, that is the 78.6% area, and this area is a 61.8 percentile range. So bank nifty is constantly since many days, at least last the 10 sessions, it is trying to go outside this 61.8% area, and only then the more confidence will come in the market, because sometimes we see that generally we see a pullback up to 61.8% area, and then it goes like that. So wherever it was going the downside, so it has given a correction over here, that is a counter movement, that is a pullback, and then after we may see this kind of movement also. So we cannot deny the fact how it can do in the coming days. There are some events also, the budget sessions and some other events are coming, and also the result sessions are coming. Meanwhile, the evidence says that it is not able to give closing above 61.8% area. Today it tried, today it broke the high of last high it has made recently, but in the friction of minutes, again it was penetrated by the sellers, and they took price lower. So as of now, still we are in this territory. This territory is the 61.8% of this particular correction, and once it loses this area and it try to penetrate this area, this is the 50%, again more selling pressure will become, because more people will turn their view from bullish to bearish, and then more selling pressures market can face at that moment. But as of now, we are expecting that market can give a consolidation, so must be forming some range. Either that range would be in this area, or the area could be up to 0.5%, right? So this could be the area. In this area, in coming days, we may see some consolidation is happening. If market has to sustain over here, and if it want to resume its upward journey, otherwise it may continue as we discussed that the market was correcting, and during this correction we have seen this pullback up to 61.8% area, and market is again heading lower. So this can be also seen. So there are the two possibilities, right? Still we do not have more evidences, so we cannot conclude whether market is going downside, or whether market is going upside, or whether market is going for the consolidation. So we do not have more evidences with us right now. Still we need to observe for coming sessions, 2-3 sessions at least we need to observe. And if market is regarding these labels 61.8% and 50% area, then we can conclude that what market wants to do, or what strong participants are planning to do in this, right? Now let's analyze the lower time frame. So we have just studies the broader picture. Now let's focus on this recent movement. What about the recent movement? So if we draw a trend line from the recent low to the today's high, this is the FIBO I have drawn. So this area is a 23 point, 60 area, right? So market can, test this area. We cannot deny that if we are considering this, swing, right? And from there, it may resume its upward, or it may go up to this area. This is the line, right? So this is the 38.2% area, and from there it can resume, or even it can go lower up to 0.5 area. This line is a 0.5 area, and from here it can resume, or we may see some more, the pullback that can be 0.6, 618, so 61.8% area. And sometimes when there are a lot of pressures and market was going through a very big correction, in those scenario sometimes it even tests to 78.6% of the area, and then it gives shake out to more retailers, more correction in the stocks, and then price heads higher. And believe me, from the 0.5% area, the 50% people lose their interest, lose their confidence for upside. So 0.5% area is very important area of FIBO, and once 0.618, that is 61.8 percent area is broken down, then many people turns their view from bullish to bearish. So they lost their hope that market may take a support here and it can go upside. So many people lose their hope, and that's why more the correction, more the penetrations happen, more the deeper Fibonacci labels are tested, more people lose their interest, more people lose their confidence for upside journey. And if that happens, then we may see more volatility in the market, we may see more corrections into the stocks. So these points we need to keep in our mind. Now let's narrow down our study and get closer views. So we are now going to study on a little time frame, not that time frame, but the area we are observing from this point. So from the 6th January, if we draw a FIBO up to the today's high, that one is the latest high, the recent high. So if we draw a pullback, then the 23% area that has been already taken out today, the 38.2 percent area that has been also taken out today, 0.5% area is here. So most likely we may test it either tomorrow. We may see some gap down opening, and from here we may see some bounce. So let's see how it happens. And this area is a 0.618, that is the 61.8% area. So this area may also be tested. So if we study this particular swing, then these are the points, these are the labels where we may test this area, right? So why I am highlighting these points? So these points I am highlighting because right now we are not having more evidences, but definitely if we consider these Fibonacci labels, we are seeing some lower scope here, right? We have studied 3 Fibonacci's, one from the recent, you can say the lifetime high, then the second one we drawn from here, and the third one we are drawing from the recent. Okay, so this is the area, and if we talk about the price action, how this the structure is developing over here. So let's see. This is a kind of M pattern we are seeing, and this M pattern need to be activated. So either price has to take support here and give a bounce to upside, or if it break, many people will again turn bearish and they will take it as opportunity for short. So we may see some more pressure is coming if this area is broken down tomorrow. And also we discuss that this is a 0.5 percentile area. So 50% area of the recent swing from this particular point. So chances are still there, right? The scope is still there up to test this area. This area is having two Fibonacci levels, that is called the confluence area. Two means what? One from this swing and another from the recent swing, right? This area, this area. So we are having two confluence points. The one is the big point, that is the 23.6, and the next one is the 61.8 percentile area. So there are the 2 points. So at least if tomorrow we see some big gap down, then this area is going to react as a strong supply and demand area, and we are expecting some bounce from here. So most likely if price visit this area and we see a bounce, and if sellers still apply their strength, then we may face some selling pressure in this area, because this is a very big candle, and at that moment this M pattern would have been activated. And on seeing that chart structure, many people will start looking for short opportunity, and in that scenario we may face some pressure over here. So even if we take a bounce from this area, we are going to face pressure in this area, and if that pressure is huge and the strength is higher than the buyers, then it will continue. So what kind of anticipation we may have right now? The first thing is, if this particular area is broken down, this area may be tested, and then after price may head higher as a bounce, because this area is a strong area. So this will complete a pullback, right? And after the pullback and visiting this area, many sellers would land up of here. They will supply more selling quantities, and we may see more fall in the bank nifty in coming days. This is the one situations, right? Before this we have considered the upside situation. So these are the scenarios we have already discussed. So there are so many scenarios how we will act tomorrow or coming days. So the idea is, since we have considered all the situational possible movements, accordingly if movement happens we will make trade, right? So our setup will be like, whenever we find out the price visiting in our trading setup or our trading study, then accordingly we will place our trade, right? So trade execution is based on the scenarios. Now let's do some higher time frame study. So it was a hourly chart. Let's move on the daily time frame and see how this movement has happened. So the earlier, this was the area. If you see, I'm just highlighting using the blue color. So this was a kind of nice triangle, and then we saw some breakout and movement has happened. Price has visited to that area. This is the area, and this was the important demand area, right? because we have seen some supply over here, supply over here, here we have seen demand, here also we have seen demand. So these demands were already tested. So last time we took support at this demand area, right? And since then we are just heading higher. So as of now, if we talk about the structure, the structure is straight. It has taken the previous swing high and we have made a new high. That is fine. So if structure has to develop, we need to form a low also, right? This was a double bottom kind of scenario. So we need to make a low also, and then we may go like that if it has to go upside. So even if it has to go upside, we are waiting for a pullback. We are waiting for a little, the counting movement, and that can be how much we have already deployed the Fibonacci on the chart. So that can be up to 23.6, 38.2%, 50%, and 61.8%. And that area we already studied today, right? This was the area. I have already marked it. This is the 23. This one is a 38.2. This one is the 50%. This one is the 61.8%. So it would be really very helping structure if it visit this area and bounce from here. Even it can visit to 38.2%. 38.2% is also a very good area. Generally, price, if there is already the bullish movement is going on, then 38.2% is enough. But most of the times in this kind of situations, we see the testing of 50% and 61.8% area also. So we cannot say that due to some today's correction we are expecting much deeper movements. Still we are calculating everything, right? And this calculation is on the broader movement, right? And on the lower movement we already see that it is already at the 0.382 area. It has closed. See how it has respected it. Let me turn it on the lower time frame again so that you can see how the price is respecting this area. So this was the 38.2 area and closing is just onto that, right? So it is respecting this very much. Next area is this one, right? 0.5. This one we are right now at, and this one is the 61.8, right? This area. So at least price can take will try to take support in these areas, and if it cannot take support, then only it will head for this broader area which we have painted here. So let's see how tomorrow we are going to see the movements. Let's talk about the weekly chart, how the weekly chart is doing, right? So before doing some study, let me disable these markings on the chart. So we have just disabled them, and I'm going to delete this study also. So it is asking because I have some settings, that is the alarm setting, that's why it was asking. So as of now, since week has started, right, in the first day of the week we are forming a negative candle, that is a gravestone doji, but still 4 days are there, and maybe who knows, it goes like this up to this area, and then again it makes a very strong candle. Who knows, because 4 sessions are still there, right? So we cannot conclude on the one session of this week, but yeah, we have to do some study, and on the basis of that we can see that this week has started with a negative candle and it has made a high, and now it has closed in the 50% area of a previous week spreading, price spreading. So it is not a good sign, but yeah, it happens because we were expecting a healthy correction in the movement. That one is needed because we need to make some base, we need to make proper structure. and it has already moved a lot. It should have given, previous days some pullbacks, but it has not given it. That's fine. What about the daily chart? So if you see on the daily chart, if you visit here, you are seeing that since last many days it was struggling into this area only. This was the area. So this was a healthy candle. Then this one just close to this area. Then we saw a very good gap up and very little price spread. This is not a good sign, after giving a big gap up and you are making a very narrow price spreading, so that is not a good sign. And then after that was engulfed by this candle. Then after we saw a very good gap down, we visited this area and again we had higher and closed positively in this day. And then after you can see how the negation of price is coming. So whenever price is heading higher, we are seeing some supply, and supply is very high. Supply is taking more than 50% of price spread of the day, and today it has taken even 90% plus. How I am saying, this was the starting point, and sometimes we were seeing that price was heading upside. It was making a new high from the last week. We made it, and then after selling came and we made a new low, and then some buying, very little buying was here, and we close up to this area. So if we talk about the strength from high to this closing area, this is the strength right now demonstrated by bears. So this is the area which bears has demonstrated. And if we talk about the strength, this little area is the strength of bulls. This is the bull area. So bull's strength is very little, bear's strength demonstration is high. But we do not conclude on the basis of these things that tomorrow only bears will be there in the market. No, no, no. Bulls can also come on the fly. There may be absent, some bulls may be absent today, and maybe tomorrow they come and do some kind of buying in stocks, and we may see some kind of movements. But if you see this particular box, you can conclude that definitely we are making a kind of consolidation kind of structure. So this was the point. If we consider we have headed higher, then we have come back to this lower area, again we have visited a high area, and now we are near to the low area. So the pressure and the structure developing over here is not so good, and we can anticipate that we may see some more correction tomorrow or in coming days. At least if not correction, then we may see consolidation in this range, and then after we may see some movement. So that's it from today's session on the bank Nifty. Let's talk about the Nifty, how Nifty has done today, and then we will wind up today's session. So this is the Nifty future I have plotted. See how this is doing. So today's movement has engulfed, the all four sessions movement. All four sessions movement has been captured, engulfed by today's movement. Closing is very near to the low, very close to the low. This is a strong closing. This is called a strong closing. It indicates the strength of sellers. So definitely it is not a good sign. And the same area, earlier we have seen supplies. This was the supply area, so that's why I have marked this area, and I was expecting that this may happen. And if price give a closing, a very wide range candles closing like this in the upside, then it was a confirmed moment that we may see a new high. But it was struggling since 4-5 days, and today it has given a negation of all those 4-5 sessions moments. Spread if we talk, today's spread is very long. Now if we consider the movement, you can see this movement is a back to back movement. Only very one or two candles restings or corrections are there, and then we are heading higher. So this is a V-shaped recovery, and V-shaped recovery, at least I do not have much confidence, because I usually see 50 to 70% V-shaped recoveries get collapsed. So 50 to 70% V-shaped recoveries, this was a correction, and then we saw a very back-to-back recovery, that is a V-shaped recovery. And my experience says that 50 to 70% V-shaped recoveries are collapsed. At least we see 50% correction in them. So this is a common scenario. I'm not saying that we are going to see this, but this is what I have observed in my trading career, that 50 to 70% times V-shaped recoveries get collapsed. We are not concluding that, but still, see, the study is the study, and we have to do all case studies, what kind of movement it can do, because we need more evidences, we need more information, then only we can plan our trade execution. So trade execution or trade setups needs more information, more case scenario study, and that's why we are studying these kind of things also. So this time we are expecting some good, correction. That would be better for healthier movement of Nifty, because as of now you are seeing only one or two candles are there for the corrections. This is not a good correction. This is not a major correction. That is not a major pullback. We need a major pullback, and that major pullback, at least 38.2% major pullback we are expecting. 38.2% or 50% of this whole swing, this big swing, whatever we have seen, at least 38.2% would be somewhere here and 50% would be somewhere here. So we are expecting up to this level of the pullback, and then if market head higher, it will give us very good risk reward. It will give us very good opportunity to enter into the stocks and enter into all the trading setups. So that's why for better risk reward setup, this kind of movement would be good. But market is the supreme. Let's do it how it does tomorrow. So that's it, friends. Hope you would like this study. Tomorrow we will continue. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and hit the like and subscribe button so that it can motivate me and I keep bringing these kind of videos for you. Thank you very much.